Hello friends, today we are going to see the next part of our auditing concept basic chapter. So here we are going to take care of the first thing, that is basic principles governing an audit, wherein we will try to understand what are the principles that will help us in conducting the entire procedure of the audit. And the next concept is audit program. Audit program is something, an entire process which is written down, which is chalked down properly, and it helps in understanding what are the factors or what are the things that we are going to perform in the entire audit program, in the entire audit activity, and it helps in delegation of authority and responsibility. The basic principles which govern the auditor's professional responsibilities should be complied with whenever an audit is carried out. And the compliance with the basic principle requirement should be the application of auditing procedure and the reporting practices, because the main purpose of audit is following the auditing procedures and reporting such whatever activities have been conducted. And there are few specific guidelines ki how this basic principles governing audit has to be conducted. Like, these are the basic criteria how we are going to conduct our audit. So in that, first we have which govern the auditor's professional responsibility, as I told you. Then it is going to be which should be complied with whenever an audit is carried out. Then it should require an application of auditing procedures and reporting practices appropriate to the circumstances. So this is what actually the basic principles mean. Let's go further. These basic principles are having some criterias. The criteria that are going to govern the basic principles are as below. So first among them is integrity, objectivity, and independence. What is integrity? Integrity means all the things that are carried out during the audit should be together. They should be integrated with each other. They should have some object within them. If there is no object and just audit procedures are being conducted, that makes no sense. So it should have some objective as well. And last, it should be independent. Independent in the sense it should not be dependent on any work or any other person. It should be unbiased decision. So we can say that auditor should be straightforward, honest, and sincere while conducting the professional activity, and the auditor must be fair and must not allow any biased activity into this auditing procedure. Also, auditor has to maintain an impartial attitude. So partiality is not allowed. Impartial attitude has to be done, and the entire audit activity must appear free of any interest of an auditor or an auditing staff. So this is the basic thing that involves in the criteria of integrity, objectivity, and independence. Next is confidentiality. What is confidentiality? Confidentiality means that an auditor should respect the confidential information of the assessee or the client that has been acquired during the course of the audit, and such information shall not be disclosed to any third party without the specific authority. If auditor has that authority of showing off this details to some third party, then only such auditor can do. Otherwise, the auditor shall not disclose any information received during the audit activity. And it can be disclosed if the auditor is having any legal responsibility or professional responsibility, then only auditor can disclose it. Next is auditor should have proper skill and competence, and the entire audit activity should be done with the due professional care and by having a trained, adequate, experienced and competent staff during the entire activity. So that the entire activity of the auditing is the combination of the proper knowledge of the business during the acquired during the basic stages of audit, which should be continued till end. So auditor also should require the emergence of awareness in the developments, like whatever practices are being followed, they should be continuous and it should be made aware within the audit staff as well, and such audit staff should also continue having such details into them and having such competences and skills in them. Not only an auditor can perform all the activities, auditor is always helped by the auditing staff. So such audit staff shall also acquire such skill and competences, and it is required that auditor should possess and qualification from the Institute of ICAI, that is Chartered Accountants of India, and should follow the required regulations and any like statutory requirements in relation to accounting and auditing matters. So as and when required or as and when updated, auditor should get this value addition also. Next is work performed by others. Now many times it happens that when the auditor is having some audit work which is technical in nature, for example there is some requirement of engineer's help, then auditor has to depend on the work that is performed by other expert, that is say for example an engineer or a technical person or a software person, because all knowledge cannot be gained by an auditor himself regarding the business. So while taking such experts help, the auditor shall be responsible, but at the same time such expert is also responsible for forming and expressing the opinion on the work done. So if an auditor is taking help of an engineer or an any other expert like, then in that case along with an auditor, such expert person who is providing an opinion and forming an opinion first of all is also responsible for the opinion, and it is very important that such person of whose help is taken by the auditor shall be also expert in that particular field. Auditor cannot ask any person. The auditor should be careful while selecting such expert also, and such expert should also have an adequate amount of experience, knowledge and expertise. Next principle is documentation. Now this plays an important role not only in auditing but also in an accounting. So auditor should document the matter which are important in providing the evidence. The audit should be carried out in accordance with the basic principles, and we have few basic principles such as it should be planned properly, then it should have some other basic criteria along with it, like the efficiency should be maintained, the effective plan should have been followed, then proper degree of experience should be there, then there should be a proper determination and programming in nature, timing should be proper, adequate knowledge should be there, coordination should be there. So there are various items which are involved in this documentation, because as and when the activities is conducted it has to be documented, because finally once the entire auditing procedure is done it has to be reported to someone, because audit is an activity which is goal oriented, it is having some objective which we have seen in the first point itself. So in this objectivity the first object lies is we have to report our entire activity output, our opinion to someone. We are auditor, so when we are conducting this activity we have to document these items. Then comes next is audit evidence and audit conclusions and reporting. So first of all let's see what is audit evidence. Audit evidence is something that auditor should obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence through the performance of compliance and substantive procedures to enable such reasonable conclusions to form a base of opinion of the financial information. Because when I don't have proper analysis of evidence, I may not form any conclusion. And even along with this, I have to comply the legal procedures also. I have to safeguard my rights and my duties as well. So for this I need a proper internal control also, which is already placed in the organization, or during the audit procedure also I need to have a proper control. And the substantive procedures that can be followed during like the entire audit procedure to obtain an evidences can be, I can test some transactions, I can test some balances of debtors, creditors, or any third party accounts, and then I can analyze specific ratios which are significant in nature, like trend analysis can be done, some profitability ratios can be checked. So with the help of this I can frame, or I can come to an proper, and the efficiency can be checked, so I can come on to the proper opinion. And the last point here in the basic principle comes as accounting systems and internal control, that it which includes conclusions and reporting part. Because how do I conclude? And it is based on the accounting system and whatever the internal controls are being followed. So along with that, I come to an conclusion with the help of various things such as financial information that is being prepared by the organization and is presented before me. Because whatever actually has happened, an auditor is never present during the transaction. Auditor has to form an opinion only on the basis of the documents presented and the books of accounts presented before during the audit. So it is very crucial decision, or it is very critical situation for an auditor to form an opinion based on this. So it is very important to check the books of accounts very crucially and very critically. So the adequate disclosure of all the materials to form a proper presentation and to fulfill the statutory requirements also is an important decision and the important stage at the auditing, during auditing of any organization. Let's see the next concept, that is audit program. Audit program is nothing but an action of plan. It is an rough plan, or we can say in detailed plan. Rough plan in the sense the items are placed one after another in a logical manner, and it is decided how things will be conducted, who will be doing what activity. So it's just the distribution of work according to the basis of the number of audit staff available with the auditor, and it is mentioning some times and responsibilities to the audit staff as well. So let's see the meaning of audit program in detail. It is a detailed written statement by an auditor. So it's going to be a proper plan of action by an auditor. Then it is indicating a work to be performed by audit assistants. So not only auditor is involved, auditor assistant's work is also involved into that, which is time bound, and the responsibilities are distributed according to the expertise and the knowledge and the other factors which are relating to the audit assistants. Then specifies the time limit for completion of work, as we discussed that it is time bounded activity. Audit cannot be conducted as per the wish of auditor or the audit staff. It is time bound activity, so the time limit for completion of work is also mentioned into it. Then comes the instruction and guidelines to the audit staff. Instruction and guidance to the audit staff means it's like just an plan of action which is informed to the audit staff, and if they require anything, then in addition to that some instructions are provided to them, some guidance is provided to them, so that they can perform the entire activity with proper efficiency and no wastage of time is being done. After that, next is, so we can just conclude that audit program is something, a tool which helps us in planning, directing, controlling of the audit work. So whatever audit work I am going to conduct, this audit work needs planning, directing and controlling, for which I am going to frame an audit program. Is it clear? Next. Now let's see this audit program in detail. Professor Meigs has defined such audit program. We have seen the concept, now let's see the definition. So Professor Meigs has given us a definition as an audit program is a detailed plan of audit work to be performed, which specifies the procedures to be followed in the verification of each item and the financial statements. So I am going to verify each item and the financial statements, both I am going to verify, and at the same time I am going to complete in the estimated time required. So it is said, and giving the estimated time required. So whenever the audit engagement is done, this is actually new concept which we have not yet discussed. We will discuss it further in further sessions. So audit engagement is something when the auditor is appointed for this specific audit purpose. So in that case, at the time of engagement itself, auditor specifies the time, the estimated time that is required, and even the organization which is appointing the auditor gives up this time, that this is the time that we can allot you for conducting the entire auditing activity. Next. This audit program bears some features. Let's see them in detail. So it is first of all a set of procedures to be adopted. So as we have already seen what is audit program, so we can easily correlate it with this feature that it is a set of procedures. Procedures means there are few activities that we are going to conduct, and these activities are going to be adopted like this. And why we are going to adopt these activities? For conducting audit efficiently. Then it comes as it is a return scheme designed by the auditor. Obviously it should be a return scheme because nothing can be remembered in full. If I discuss today 10 points, it may happen that tomorrow I may forget 4 of them, I may remember just 6 of them. So it should be the proper return schedule and return scheme that should be designed by the auditor. Then it is a blueprint of audit work. Blueprint means it is a rough plan, a detailed rough plan which is going to tell us that what things will be conducted at what time and by whom. So it's distribution of work as per the time and the distribution of work to the specific audit staff as well. It also facilitates a delegation of work because entire activity cannot be conducted by the one person, that is the auditor. So it's a delegation of work to the audit staff as well, and the delegation is done on the basis of the capability. Not every audit staff can be that expert. So on basis of the capabilities, expertise and the experience and whatever criteria the auditor may think fit, on basis of that audit staff is being delegated the work. Then it also acts as an evidence for future. It's but obvious thing that whatever activity we are going to do today will get documented, and this documentation can be used as an evidence in the future. So whatever audit work is being performed, it can be used further, first of all for reporting such audit into audit reports to the specific statutory requirements, legal requirements or the professional duty following. So it also acts as a feature, is an important feature of an audit program. It also specifies work to be done by an audit staff. it's like very normal thing that we are designing something and we are delegating the activity, so it is going to specify the specific work that yes, person A will be doing this, person B will be doing this, person C will be doing this. So accordingly it is a distribution of the work that has to be done by an audit staff. And the last item comes as it specifies the manner and the time limit for completion of work. How we are going to perform and what will be the time limit for completion is specified here. So these are all the features of an audit program, which gives us a detailed idea of what the audit program is. Let's move further. Let's see the objectives of an audit program. First objective comes as to provide clear instruction to the audit assistant. Sometime it may happen that there may be confusion between the audit staff. So this should be not happening during the audit procedure, because it is an expert activity. It is time bounded activity. So there should be a clear instruction to the each audit assistant. Then it should specify the nature of work to be performed. At what level shall the books of accounts be checked, or like at what essence the activity should be performed is the next objective. Then comes to fix the time span for completion of each work. Like if an specific audit staff is going to, a group of audit staff like 2 or 3 people are going to just conduct and vouching or the verification of sales. So there should be a specific time span given to them. If this time span is being followed, then only the entire audit activity can be done in specific time period. Then to facilitate the coordination among the various parts of audit work, because what happens, all activities in the organization are related with each other. They are like having some or the other relation with each other. Like how much I am purchasing, only that much I can manufacture, and further that much I can sell. So the activities have coordination with them. So the audit work should also have a coordination within each activity. Then comes to ensure the uniformity in the performance of audit work. To ensure uniformity means if a specific audit staff who is going to verify the bank statement or the cash items like cash inflows and outflows, then it should be in the same essence as the other items, like some debtors and creditors are being verified. So everything should have a uniformity. It should not have the other methods or the other techniques that are being used very constantly. So it should be performed with the similar manner, in the similar nature. Next comes to avoid duplication and repetition of work. It may happen that if the proper duty assignment is not done, if the delegation of the work is not done properly, it may happen that the duplication of work is being done. So just to avoid these things, we can say that we have to stop the repetition of work. So audit program is designed to attain a fair allocation of work among the audit team. So auditing is actually a regular staff which is going to work under the expert guidance of auditor, but that team is not expert. So it should not happen that one team member is burdened and other team members are having a regular work of nature, like a regular work load. So this should be avoided. So from that point of view also we have an audit program, so that there should be the equal distribution of work. Then to fix the responsibility and accountability of each audit assistant. So when responsibility and accountability is done properly, so that if I am accountable for something, if I am responsible for something, then I work more efficiently, then I work more carefully. So this fixation of responsibility and accountability is also important. After that, to serve as an guide for planning the audit work in future. So as it is going to serve as an evidence, and at the same time it will help me in future also, like how I did earlier. It may happen that this year I am facing some problems, so in that case I may take help of the audit procedures or the plans or the programs that were followed in the previous years. So whatever I am doing today may be taken as a guide or a help in planning my future audit work as well. And the last objective comes as an, it is going to serve as an evidence, that we have already discussed earlier also. Hope your concept of audit program is clear now. So let's move on to next part. Let's see, the concept is clear. So let's see the actual ingredients of the audit program. What all will come in the audit program? Let's see. It should be first the name of the client for whom we are going to conduct this entire audit activity. Then the nature of operations and the business of the client, what actually the business activity is there, whether there is a manufacturing activity or just the trading activity is there. So if there is manufacturing activity, then what are the compliances that should be followed, and etc, etc, all the things regarding the business and the operations. Then the review of system of internal check. Review of system of internal check means how the internal control is being imposed, and that internal control should be checked first of all, so that the auditor can decide whether auditor can rely on the internal control and internal check procedures. Then the date of commencement of audit work, like when I'm going to start my audit work, is also an important criteria because it is a time bound activity. Then duration of audit work is also an important aspect. So duration should be mentioned earlier, and it should be well mentioned in the audit program itself, so that if the deadlines are missed, then audit program needs to be revised. Then comes accounting system followed in the client's organization. It may happen like various methods of accounting systems are there, or the various softwares are used. So that is also an important aspect for an auditor to first of all understand what that entire software is or what the system is followed. So that once the system is known, then audit procedure becomes easy. Then to review the report of previous auditor. It may happen that I was not the auditor of an organization in the previous year. Some other person was there as an auditor. So it is essential for me to understand what the previous auditor has reported. Obviously, I cannot get the entire detailed audit program or whatever audit activity was conducted by such person, but at least on basis of the report, I can understand what was the scenario of the organization in previous year. Then the review of remarks, instruction, objections raised in the previous audit reports help me in conducting my current audit as well, because there are few disqualifications, few qualifications, few items are being disclosed, so that the stakeholders are aware about the facts, and also these facts helps the further auditor or the same auditor in future year, so that the audit program can be designed accordingly. And the last item comes as to examine the various ledger accounts and subsidiary books. So actually this is the very basic activity into any audit program, but this is a crucial activity because without this I cannot complete my entire audit program properly, or rather it is incomplete without this. It is the main part of my audit program. Next. There are few advantages of audit program. Let's see them. It helps in estimation of work. It helps in division of work, because first of all I need to know the quantum of work, then only I can distribute such work to my audit staff. Then it comes fixation of responsibility, like within the audit staff I need to fix the responsibility. Then it helps in future planning. Then it also serves as a guide then it serves as an valuable evidence. We'll just go through this part a bit faster because we have already seen these items in features and objects. So we already know these points. If anything is not understood, you can anytime reach to me and ask me. It serves as an valuable evidence. Then it keeps uniformity because all the things are integrated with each other and are conducted with the same manner. And the last item amounts, it maintains continuity because it may happen that if the audit program is not done, then one team may complete its work 8 days before and the other team is still working. So continuity should be there. So accordingly, audit program is going to help me. There are few limitations also of audit program. So let's see what are the limitations. It becomes, after some time it becomes mechanical. Initially it is good, but after some time span or after continuous practicing it becomes mechanical. Then there may be lack of quality in work. There may be lack of initiative because all things are already planned. Nothing can be done beyond that plan. So it may happen that there may be a lack of initiative by any audit staff. As it is well defined already, so it involves inflexibility and rigidity. Rigidity and inflexibility means all things are to be followed as they are mentioned. They cannot be changed. So rigidity and inflexibility comes into existence. Then it is a shelter for inefficient staff. Like inefficient staff may say that this was not mentioned in the audit program. Basically, there was an activity which they should have conducted, but they may hide themselves under a tag that these things were not mentioned in the audit program. So that may be one of the limitation of the audit program, and maybe sometimes it is not suitable for all types of organization. Sometimes we may need to change it, but as a practice it is as it is followed, so that may create a problem as well. So this is what an audit program is, along with its features, objects, some benefits, some advantages, and with some limitations obviously. Concepts that we have discussed today in relation to the auditing, and auditing involves various aspects as we have seen today, right from vouching, verification, audit program, everything. So in case of any doubts, you can reach me on the links provided. Thank you.